Doot, 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 doot. Hey everyone, how are you doing? It is Friday. Good to see y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. And hey, beautiful day, beautiful week. I think it's been a great week. Okay, hold on one second. I heard myself. I think Jimmy Buffett had a song. What was it? Living and dying in three-quarter time, I think is what he said. Yeah, something like that. So anyway, how are you? Good to see you. I've got about 6 different things going here. So all I can say is that I'm a marvelous juggler. All right. Good to see you. Invoking great favor upon your lives today. And may full restoration be realized in all of our lives. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And so good to see you. Hello, Caroline. How are you doing? Hello. Look at who all we have here. Haley, good to see you. Man, there's so many people. Michael, Hillard, man, Blazing Rivers, Sherry. Hello, Mary. How are you doing? Sabrina, good to see you. Boy, well, anyway, there's a lot of people here. Good to see you. Peace, man. Yeah. Growing up, I was on my own at the age of 15. And for those of you, I got a lot of listeners in Houston. This was 1970, February to be exact. And I was awarded the state. It didn't work out in California. I was really a confused kid. But anyway, the point is, favor has always graced me. So I got put in this place called Family Connection. And those of you who live in Houston know where the Montrose area is. This house was on the corner of Commonwealth and Indiana. And I got immersed into the full effects of the 60s, moving into the 70s. Woodstock had happened. That was moving through. I remember, people talk about gay rights and what have you. And I remember back in the day where I was up in Austin, Texas. And anyway, I was up there and I remember people getting their heads beat. I really do. Got tear gas thrown at me when Agnew came to town. But anyway, it immersed me into a path of life that, as I look back now, was on a path of enlightenment from all the tragedy. And anyway, here we are today. So I digress. So good to see everyone. Thank you, all you moderators. Welcome. And let's begin. I think this will be working out. I think it will be a week from Monday will be my 1,000th official video. Now, I've done a lot more than that. Steve Olson and I, back in the day, I think Steve and I did over 500. And so, but as far as YouTube is, and the official counter would be the 1,000th video. So I'll have a little, like, all right, far out. Let's move on. But I wanted to show you something. So give me a second here as he pulls this up. I want to get this ready for you. So back in the day, this was back in 2015. I did a lot. To show you something. Okay, I still hear myself, so I have to go back and find out who is the one who is talking here. So give me 1 second. There you are. All right, got rid of that one. So let's proceed on where we are at. Okay, and I have to stop the share there. So give me a second here, folks, and let's redo this. All right, now we're rocking and rolling. So this is actually coming up on the 4th year anniversary. I was doing some filming. There's a green belt behind my house. And so I'm out in this field, and there's no houses around. And doing filming of the sky with a new infrared ultraviolet lens on my camera. And I am filming the sun, and it was doing some weird things when I was doing this. So check this out, folks. I'm going to let the volume do what it's got to do and let you hear this for yourself. Did y'all hear that? I'll play that back. And I mean, I'm just out there in the field. I mean, there's no electronics, no nothing going on. Now, is that some weird stuff or what? So I had a friend, he had an audio board at home, and he I sent him the MP3 file, and he went and put it through his soundboard and began to isolate the sounds which is now what I know is what they call an electronic voice print. So here is his work that he did in separating out the audio. And you can see there was some strange stuff going on up in the sky. I'll just leave it at that. So check this out, folks. Now, is that weird? Now that's pretty strange sound, isn't it? And he isolates it even more. Folks, I mean, I didn't do anything. This is just right off the raw footage. I mean, I don't know what I picked up or where. I think what I picked up. And what he did is separated out the audio. All this was on the audio file. And there you go. So is that some weird stuff or what? Yeah, it definitely was very, very strange, I can assure you. And yeah, it's disturbing, isn't it? That was picked up by a recording device. I was out there, like I said, filming the sky. The sun was doing some weird stuff, folks. I mean, I got it on video. I don't know if any of you have ever seen some of my earlier work. Let me tell you what, let me pull this up. So let me get this going. Maybe some of you have never seen. Let's see here. Oh, that might help if I do that. Okay. So here you go. These were, it says 2 years ago, but YouTube this is actually almost 5 years ago. But I used to do a lot of filming of the sky. Back in 2015, here where I live in the Front Range of Colorado, we were seeing very strange anomalies. And that's what I did. A lot of the footage you can't find on the ISS anymore, where we were realizing that there was something else taking place that was just very weird. So anyway, I digress there. Check it out sometime. You might like it. So anyway, let us continue on our journey. And the hum. I captured it here. Oh, good gracious. When was it? I think 2 years ago I caught it. And it was very real, folks. My camera had no problem picking it up. Neighbors heard of it, and it was, I don't know. It was like it was everywhere, but it was nowhere. But you could hear it. And I thought that that was pretty interesting, if you catch my drift. I mean, you can hear something, but you can't see it. Other people are hearing it, but having no idea, where you would think that you thought you could hear maybe where it was coming from, you would turn your ears there and no, it's over here. So I have some articles that I want to share. By the way, did that thing on Are We, in a simulated reality? Found this in my mailbox today, and this is on medium.com. The men who are convinced we're all living in a simulation. And you read this, and folks, it just ain't a bunch of stuff. So got some really interesting one. They did a thing in Antarctica, and they found as well is that in Antarctica, listen to this. Now, this is caused by the wind, they say, coming off the ice. Now, strange, isn't it? We're going to have to ask Earth about this. All right. So that is one hum that we've recorded. Stories from the New York Times. There's a persistent hum in the Canadian city. No one knows why. Another one, mysterious hum driving people crazy around the world. Now, this is odd because this was taking place in 2013. I have in the archives stories as recently as 2 months ago of people along New Jersey, Delaware, the Del Mar area up there. Many of them saying, this is getting to be ridiculous. It's driving us nuts. So it's just not what some of us had. Here's another story, USA Today. The hum, a global phenomenon, is heard by some in Rochester region and up in the Finger Lakes. Oh, that's interesting. Here's another one, understanding the hum, going back to 2012, where we're all beginning to think about this 2010, 2012 period of time. Something happened. Now, we discussed that yesterday. Lastly, scientists say they've uncovered a mystery of the deep water earth sound of this hum. So is this something that's just merely natural? There is a great, let me pull this up, YouTube channel, and I'll give the person on this, I think it's Kimsley, The Teos hum. Check this out, folks. Teos, New Mexico. Now, this is similar to what I recorded up here. How many of you have heard this? And yet it's still something that's heard. It's in the background to me almost. So there you go. I mean, yeah. What is all that about? I don't know. It's here. It appears to be real, and it seems to be getting. Some people say, is it tied to the Schumann resonance? I don't know. I wish I did. We know that the Schumann resonance is just off the chart, like this. What are we hearing? Now, when I hear something at that level, how many of you remember the movie Contact with Jodie Foster? Carl Sagan actually helped write that script, by the way. And you remember from Vega, the signal came, and what they had to begin to do is clean the signal up, get the sound to noise ratio balanced out. And then lo and behold, and any of you who come from the video industry, I do, spent nearly 20 years in that industry. But anyway, you have an audio track, and within an audio track, you can put within video that takes up large frames of memory, audio can be much more condensed. Anyway, yeah, it was a great movie, Sherry. It really was. And so we know that if an alien civilization, if a god or gods, spirits, were to talk to one another, would they not use frequency? I mean, I've asked this question, and we're going to do this again. Do spirits hear? Do they speak? Do they have the capacity to vibrate molecules, air? I don't know. How does a spirit see? Does it have a different set of retina, nerves? I mean, I don't know. But if, in fact, I think a society, alien culture was to talk, I think it would use sound waves, light waves, more likely, because within a light wave, you can embed so much. So, yeah. And oh, by the way, let me share this with you. You think that this is just something that's just kind of, well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Check this out, folks. This is a map of all reports of the hum all over the world. So take a look at this. So what are we seeing? Is there a pattern here? Is there a clue here? I don't know. I find it odd that look at the concentration on the Midwest to the East Coast of the United States, heavy concentration over on the West Coast, the almost saturation of the European continent, down on the South Africa tip, the eastern shore of Australia, and then subsequently as well over on the western shore. I don't know. Is this saying something? This, I think, was updated up as early as last year. So it's not just us. Somebody else is picking up on this. And I just wanted to bring it up because I thought today, I heard it this morning. And again, it's just this, you know, is it a resonant of the earth? Well, I think when Patrick and I do our show, we'll ask the earth what's going on. But I think something's going on. Brandon, I think that's a good question. I'm wondering 5G effects too. I mean, here's what most people don't know about HD, right? Everyone's, HD this. HD is not new, folks. It's not this latest and greatest technology. HD, high definition television, was brought to Japan in 1948. And in the Reconstruction years, that's all the Japanese had was high definition television. Why? Because Japan was occupied under U.S. oversight. And since the military was the occupier in Japan, the communication had to be rebuilt because of the war, and particularly because of the 2 A-bombs that were dropped. And thus, as a result, the military used HD. We were actually using it in the edit suite. Oh, I think we brought our first HD into the edit suite. I'm saying 87. Now, it was expensive back then because we were still on the black and white standard here. But anyway, yeah, I digress. So I got something else I want to pull up because we do have some more letters from Source. Been busy, and so I thought I would pull these up and read them. Not sure who Source is, but seems to be caring. And folks, I keep saying this, and this community is repeating it to others now. They can't ridicule us when we channel to the ethereal realm, or I say actually up into the next level of the firmament. If people believe in prayer, and if all religions teach their followers, their devotees to pray, prayer is nothing more than channeling. That's all it is. Now, it's been given negative connotations only because of the powers to be. But if you think about it, all of us channel. I'm finding now that as I begin to open myself much more openly and freely, I experienced this recently. When you transition over into the spiritual realm, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot change about you. Maybe not. But one thing I do know is all of us have a countenance. When we studied the Liber Lilith, Lilith taught us how the countenance of us, mankind, how we have that spark of divinity, the spark of the divine. In some of us, it burns very bright. There are some, remember, not all vessels are filled with the same essence. And maybe that's why we hear interlaced through so many different religions stories of those type. When I was really indoctrinated deeply into the Christianity story, the mind coitus that was thrown was the 144,000. Who are the 144,000? Well, if you look at it today, and number 7.5 billion and growing in the population, wow, talk about a select group. So, you know, these are the things that our species constantly deals with. So there are some of us who have, I'm content, are actually light beings that are here. Ariel says that, you know, some 3,000 of her kind was captured here. I wonder what the essence of their vessels were filled with. So anyway, here is the latest from source. Let's get right into it. This is an interesting letter. My dearest children, I am so overjoyed at the response that I have received from all of you with my last message. I know that you have many questions, and I have heard them all. This was the purpose of the first message. It was to find out if you were ready for the many things that I have to tell you. This message, however, I hope finds you a little more how to, I hope finds you a little more, how do you say it, my friend is having issues trying to find the right words. Okay, so remember, this is a gentleman by the name of Joshua, and this is what he is being channeled. He keeps coming to user-friendly, but doesn't feel that it's quite the right word either. I told him just to go with it and that you all would understand. You see, the first message that I brought to you, I did without the knowledge of my friend Joshua, and I actually really freaked him out. Yeah, I can see that. Sometimes we neglect to remember that your time is not quite the same as ours, and that if we take over your consciousness for any length of time in your 3D reality, that you lose time. How many of you experienced that? Oh, I did. Did a whole video on it. We have been trying to get Joshua to get some information out to you all for several months now, and he started to do that. He posted some things on his YouTube channel, some good messages, which some of you have seen. However, circumstances within his 3D life caused him to stop what he was doing. So we had to open a new avenue to get the message that he has out. Hello, Wayne. Hello. How many of you remember Mr. Ed? Hello. All right. We are talking about you. Wayne is such a great human, isn't he? Now, you know, I don't know. I'm just one of the folks, man. We love him over here as we love all of you. All you need is love. Do. All right, Joshua is telling me to get back on track. Yeah, I know how that is. So as we were saying, to make a long story short, is that Joshua is not revealing these truths that we have for you at a speed that we liked. So we took him over for about 45 minutes in your world. He had no idea. Sorry, Joshua. Joshua, this is what I have to say. Suck it up, Cupcake. It happens. It had to be done. If you don't believe us, just ask Wayne. Now, how did they know? All right, anyway, we explained to him in much more detail what was going on. However, we probably shouldn't have used quite so much detail, as we didn't run it past Joshua first and put some things out there about Joshua's personal life that he wasn't very happy about. He got over it quickly, for he has a big heart and he knows that the message was important and had to be delivered at just the right time. But we revealed a few things about his life that he didn't even know yet. Oops. Well, folks, I told you yesterday, there's no such thing as perfection. If perfection can be achieved, it's all over, folks. Lights out. Think about it. There's nothing else. Now, if perfection is an ever elusive goal to be attained, whether it be in any type of form, then that's maybe what drives us all. Who knows? Um, Sorry again. You were going to find out eventually. We just sped up the process a bit for you. That letter two, never mind, not the time or the place. Sorry, Joshua, we're back on track. Now we know you need your beauty sleep. Anyway, as you can already tell, this message is a bit different because he knows we are here this time. And he is helping us to format what we say in a way that is easier for you to understand. So here we go in an attempt to clear up some of the questions that you have. Yes, we know your questions because remember, we are all one and the same. Happen to believe that. The first question that we are going to answer is probably going to be the most difficult for Joshua to explain to you, as it was already explained in the first message, but many of you did not understand. Remember, I was not using Joshua as a filter in the first message, so things were a bit out of order because things here aren't linear. And time doesn't operate in the same manner, so translations come out a bit mixed up, just like those Chinese instructions that are translated to English or many other languages for that matter. There was a period of time where I worked for a company where we hired technical writers and we would contract them out to AMD, IBM, Dell computers, and a whole lot. And so it was very interesting working in that environment because you're dealing with many different constructs of understanding of levels of language and interpretation. And it's quite something. If you ever know a technical writer, they're brilliant people. Anyways, the biggest question that it seems was on most of your minds was, who was the brother that trapped you where you are? Joshua was telling me that you are not going to like this answer, but it is the truth. And you asked the question, so here it is. Your brother is really you, or at least part of you, as you are in 3D. The part of each and every one of you, that in itself is jealousy. All right, let's break that down. The part of each one of us, which is us, in that in itself is jealousy. I could see that. Thinking on this, folks, out loud. All right. Joshua is struggling to put this into words that you can understand. For this is a hard concept for most humans to understand. You see, you cannot actually see your brother who is part of you because he is in a different dimension, a different realm. Jealousy, anger, joy, grief, these are all your brothers and sisters, just as Wayne and Joshua are your brothers. The only difference is that you can't see them, you can't touch them, you can't smell them or taste them, you can't even hear them. What you actually hear and see in the 3D is nothing but the byproduct of the energy being released. The energy in itself cannot be seen by the average human being, by the human being that is still vibrating close to the frequency of Mother Gaia. Some of you can see these energies as colors around other humans. Others can feel the energy in the air. The higher your vibration gets, the more you will see and feel. That was not the answer you were looking for, now was it? Remember, when I said we are all one and the same, and that I am you and you are me, and so on, that should have answered the questions for you. But that's okay, baby steps. What about Bob? What about Bob? Anyway, the more we talk, the more you will see. By the way, you can talk to me anytime you like. You do not have to wait for Wayne, well, that's a good thing, to receive the messages from Joshua. You just need to ask, and I will answer as long as the time is right. Remember, if I don't think that you can handle the truth, you can't handle the truth at the time, I will not answer, but will simply lead you to another direction so that you can learn more about what you are asking before the answer is revealed. You know, I believe this. Let me just stop here, because this is what we're doing. We're discussing philosophies of life. And in that spiritual walk of understanding what spirit really is. I mean, we occupy, truly, I think these are avatars. The more I think about body, as I was talking to body today, I don't regulate the blood flow. There's so much, the digestion process. It's like I'm almost renting the room. I got the penthouse, my body. And all of the air conditioning, heating, plumbing, cooking, everything is done by something else. I just get to experience it. So I was hit with this today. The only one I'm going to meet when I pass through this realm is going to be myself. It's the only one I could meet. I know it sounds weird. I experienced this at the age of 5. All right, I'll share the story. My brother and I were raised initially by my grandparents, and we lived in a town in California, right near the coast. Anyway, one night I was sick or something, and anyway, my brother went and got a 1-gallon paint can and hit me over the head, knocked me out. I still have the indenture of that, but that changed my life. My grandparents, who have passed on many years ago, always said that there was something that changed about me when that happened. Now, who knows? But I can remember we moved to Santa Clara right after that, and I had many episodes where I was sharing 2 places at the same time with the same mind. Does that make sense? I mean, for a 5-year-old, I interpreted as I was immersed in a color. It's the most fabulous blue I've ever seen. Anyway, so I digress, but I really do believe this. I think that there is other us. Who knows? Joshua was telling me to hurry up and answer the questions because he is tired and wants to get some sleep. But this is important. So I'm asking him to continue. Remember, sometimes not getting an answer to a question is the best answer you can get, because at the time, the answer that you're looking for will cause more harm than good. Once you are ready for the answer, it will be revealed to you, but not until you are ready for it. This is wise. Now, the next question that I'm going to answer is one that you will either like the answer to or you won't. If you don't, and you don't believe what you're about to be told, then guess what? You really weren't ready to know the answer to the question. Many of you, I know who you are, want to know if this is real, if I can really talk to you through someone else in the way that I am. Well, I am going to answer your question with a series of questions myself. I told you that you might not like this. I know who you are that hates to have a question answered with another question. Yes, that's right. I am talking to you. Well, several of you. 7 to be exact. At least during the live show. Many more in the time to come after. The first question I have for you is, what is real? What is reality? Isn't your reality different from Joshua's reality and Wayne's reality? Is reality not something that is perceived differently by each individual person on the planet? You all live on the same 3D planet, but you all live within your own multidimensional world. There are no 2 humans that have the exact same thoughts at the exact same time. There are no two humans that see the exact same thing at the exact same time. Take a group of you and have them witness the same exact event without having them work together to come up with the same exact story. You will not find two people that will have the same exact story. Now, not in 3D, that is. You see, if this is real or it isn't real is totally up to the person that is receiving the message that is being put out. If it resonates with you, then it's real. If it doesn't, it will someday, just not today. We do not fault you for that, for it is all a part of the process. Humans do not like to believe things that they cannot see, yet many of the things that you cannot see are the things that allow you to live in the 3D world that you are living. Air, gravity, magnetism, which the latter two are really the same. Science will admit to this one day. All elements are comprised of positive and negative charges that are attracted to each other. Just because things do not contain metal does not mean that they do not have magnetic attraction or other things. Remember, everything in existence wants the same thing, harmony. Sorry, went off on the tangent there because Joshua actually likes that one, which was of the first things that we revealed to him. We actually had to stop him there, or he would have gone on forever on it. And today, it's not the day for that one. The point we're trying to make was that you believe in the things that you cannot see because you were told that it was truth and that it could be proven. My question for you is to do the things that have been proven. My question for you is, do the things that have been proven by man really make more sense than what you are hearing here today? I know there are many more questions that we have yet to answer, but there is plenty of time to get to them all. Just no more time today. I also know that there are a lot more questions now than there were before this message. That is good. You will now strive harder to seek the knowledge that is already within you. Well, this is timely. I know many of you have already had many of these thoughts, but there are many of you who have not. I will leave you with one last thought. For those of you that say, I have already learned these things, I have already had these thoughts, have you ever shared them with those around you? I know some of you have, but those of you who haven't, you know who you are. It's time to start. It is your time. Now, you know now that you are not alone. You know now that the message had originally come from us. I love you all and look forward to our next conversation. May all of you awaken to the glory within. I know you will in time. Good night. Well, there you go. How about that? I have yet another message. Yeah, let's go ahead and read that. I like these messages. I find great wisdom in them. This one is called competition. If they keep coming, I'll do a whole show on this each week. This is marvelous, Sonny. Marvelous. Competition. We come to you with a message today in an attempt to get you to see where the source of duality comes from in humanity. Holy crapola. Well, this is timely. I wish I was in Vegas with this type of synchronicity. Hello, 29. Anyway, it is something that many of you have been trying to sort out in your heads. Why everything has an opposite? Why does everything seem to be either this or that? Hopefully, our message today will help you to clear this up for you. The answer to this question is competition. Competition divides you from yourself and from the 3D reality of others. Humans feel the need to compete for everything. You feel the need to be the best at everything you do. We tell you that you have all been created equal, and yet you still try and outdo each other in everything you do. Wow. Don't be a long-tailed cat in this room. This has got a lot of rocking chairs. This is the biggest obstacle that you face as a race. Say that 10 times. The biggest obstacle that you face in a 3D reality. Do you understand what we are saying? From the moment you are born, this world teaches you to compete. That is not how it was designed. Society tells parents that they must put their children in separate rooms and separate beds away from the parents so that they won't be spoiled. This is where the disconnect starts. The energy of the mother cannot transfer to the infant if the infant is not with the mother. Okay, I see where this is going. There is an energy that is transferred between a mother and a child for 9 months. And then you all of the children want to remove that energy. Then all of a sudden you want to be removed from that energy. Okay. You want to take the warmth and the love of the mother away from the baby. Why? This is when connections are made and most crucial time for two humans to share that energy. This energy is the energy of love and compassion. This is the most positive energy you will ever encounter. Men stop kicking the baby out of the room. Men stop kicking the baby out of the room because you want time with your spouse. You will have plenty of time with them once the baby has grown. If you start the child off with negative energy right from birth, then they are going to attract negative energy throughout life because that is what they are used to. That is what they think love is supposed to feel like. Wow, that's very revealing. Mothers, the same goes for you. Your mother, Gaia, has not kicked you out of her bed, has she? She invites you back in after you've left. Mothers, listen to your hearts. Don't listen to what society tells you. Your heart will never lie to you. Don't make your child compete with your husband. There is enough of you for both of them. Fathers, the same goes for you. Quit being selfish. Wow. I had no idea this was going to read like this. Can you see that this is where competition starts? As a baby, you are competing for the attention of your own parents, for the rest of the world, and from each other. The thing about competition is that there is always a winner and always a loser. If there wasn't, then it wasn't a competition. There is always going to be positive energy and negative energy. Go to a little league game. Watch the winners and watch the losers. The children that won are jumping up and down and happy and congratulating others and not paying attention to the losing team. If they are, it is not in a loving manner. The ones that are paying attention to the ones that lost are usually rubbing in the fact that they lost. Their positive energy has just turned negative and piled more negative on the ones that were already feeling the negative mood. This is how competition works all throughout humanity. Don't get us wrong. There are some humans that are very humbled when they win. But then again, those humans don't care if they win or lose either. They just do it because they enjoy it. They are having fun. Why don't more of you teach your children that it's okay to lose? You do realize that this is something that is learned, right? You do realize that, don't you? Children don't know the difference between winning and losing until you teach them the difference. Why do you do this to yourselves? Why not just teach them how to have fun, how to enjoy playing with others? Teach them to have fun without competition, because there is no need to try to be better than someone else. By trying to prove that you are better than someone, you are trying to prove that that person is less adequate than you are. Whoa! Well, there is that right there was worth the 10 cents for the phone call. By trying to prove that you are better than someone, you are trying to prove that that person is less adequate than you. You are trying to display some form of dominance over that person. There is not one of you that is better than another. Do you not see this? Why do you have to be better? Life is not a competition. Life is an experience. It's an experience that is meant to be enjoyed with love and grace. If you remember our last message, we told you that you are everyone, so you are really only competing with yourself and only hurting yourself. You are putting down yourself and causing yourself to learn negativity. Start teaching yourself positivity. If you must keep competition, start teaching your kids to share the winning experience. Bring the losing team into the winning circle. Teach them to be humble and gracious. Teach them that winning is not everything and that having fun together and working together is the more important part of the competition. Teach them to be happy for those that appear to be better than them at something. Everyone in the world is the best at something in their life, for they represent a part of you, and that part of you is their strength. My children, several of you say that you are not impressed with these messages and say that they are just common sense. If they were so much common sense, then would not more people not know them and follow them? We do not bring you these messages to help us, or to help single humans. We bring these messages for the betterment of humanity. If they are common sense to you, that is great. Are you following them? Are you listening to what they are telling you? We know that not all of you are. Please, if the message isn't for you, then don't listen. But please keep the negativity away from the message. We are trying to help you by lifting the positive energy. There are many people who need to hear this message. So please do not retract from those that do. Don't forget, the only one that you are really hurting with anything is you. On the less serious note, how are all of you doing today? Trick question. We already know the answer, so you better be honest, or not that it's up to you because you are only being truthful or lying to yourself. Ha ha. You do see, my children, that everything in your existence right now revolves around competition. Education, sports, careers, video games. Most of you compete with the drivers on the road and being the first to get to a line that opens in a grocery store. You want to try to be first or the best in everything that you do. Why not just focus on doing everything that you do well and enjoy all that you do and focus on helping others yourself get better at the things that you are good at and they are not? Instead of trying to have more money to spend on everyone else than everyone else, why not try and make sure that those versions of you that don't have money have the same comforts you have? Does the fact that they are less fortunate than you and the wealth that you have in your current life make you that much better than you in the life where you are living under a bridge? Remember, to get where you all want to be, you have to come together as one. You have to remember you open who you are and who you were. You must help yourself to remember what you think you don't know. Help those that don't realize that those that are you realize that you are them and they are you. We are so proud of where you have come from and where you are heading. We love all of you, every aspect of you that exists in every time and space. It is time, my children, to work together and reach for what humans have told you are unreachable. Source. Well, there you go, folks. Wow. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is it just common sense? It's the question I ask. I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe it could be common sense, but common sense isn't so common. In memory of my fifth grade teacher, Miss Buttons, I lived in Genoa, Texas, and she had great favor for me. And this is the hot spices. um, but she told me, and I've told this story, but it's worth telling again. She said, always remember, Wayne, an ounce of common sense will outdo a pound of book learning any day. True. But then again, we're in competition. I don't know. One of the things that I often question about this reality is why is it dominated by debt? Because debt is enslavement. So there is no such thing as a free man, free woman in this 3D reality. The world inherits every new incoming soul with debt. The actuaries put a price on your head, how much you will earn potentially, how much you're going to cost, how much money you'll spend on prescription drugs. All of this is now figured out. Human life is reduced down to simply a number. No matter how rich a person is, they're not free. They may have the ability to have other luxuries. They may have the ability to have more money to spend than common sense, but they're no more free than the person who's homeless. I'm reaching out, by the way, to the #1 national organization on homelessness, and we're getting set up to do an interview. This is going to be an eye-opener. It is everywhere. It's growing. In a time where we're told the economy is booming and going gangbusters, yet more American families are homeless today than they were 10 years ago. Poverty, homelessness, disease, hunger. This is what makes people to become competitive. It's where we lose the apathy for the person who is struggling. We lose the apathy because, well, isn't it a shame? But I'm here warm and comfortable in my house. But hear me out on this, folks. None of us are free. And even when we exit this, if you owe taxes, they'll collect even when you're dead. We have to put it in perspective, folks. If we understand we're all slaves, from the very top to the very bottom, none are free. And you can't argue with me on this on a spiritual, metaphysical, any level, because this is reality. All of us, when we're born, are born into debt. Anyway, free thought still, at least for a while, right? I don't know. How did, one person says, well, I didn't like this call. That's all right. It's like Source said, it wasn't your time. Just, understand that when you're ready, the answers will come. And this community keeps growing. It keeps abounding. We're going to do a group healing. We're learning. We're learning how to become stronger as a unit of one so that we may become an active group of many. And that's what counts. I often say that if you learn to love yourself, it's going to be so much easier to love those around you. And I'm hearing a song by Bonnie Raitt, and sorry, when love comes knocking down. And Buddy Guy, I'm sorry. My mind, that's how it works. When I leave this plane, man, I am taking the very best library. I mean, my iTunes library is worth tens of thousands of dollars, but most of it's all in here. And I'm going to take it with me. It's just the way I look at it. All right, folks. Well, thank you. This has been it's been for me an exciting hour. Thank all of you. I want to make sure that, by the way, someone is looking for a necklace, a chakra necklace. If any of you know this, let me know, and we will put that person in there. I know many of you, I think, make jewelry and other things like that. I know Queen of Quartz, Karen, she may have that. I don't know. But in any case, she's looking for a chakra necklace. And if you know of that, let me know. Trina, hello. How are you doing? Flight Risk, good to see you. Oh, there's just so many good people here. This has been far out. I've really enjoyed this. This is, it enhances the journey, doesn't it? And I guess like Source says, you really wouldn't have any reason to be mad at anyone, because you would learn that, you walk in love, you forgive, you forget, and you move on. And, that's why I have that right up above my head. Every day I read it. And I often said that when I find the God that came with, that'd be a person I could sit down and share a beer with, glass of wine. Vino Veritas. Folks. All right. Have yourselves a great weekend. I should be over on Jeff's channel, the friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower, on the Not Your Normal Sunday Morning Show. And we'll see you here on Monday. We're going to do the alien interview and pick up. Keep on. We're learning. We're connecting, folks. I think that I'll just say it. I think that there are entities that have long waited for a time when they can begin to commune with man again. And I think we're shaking off the shackles that have shackled the thought process. And we've opened our understandings to begin to accept that communication is best done when it's done of the mind. And that we're all channeling. We were created for that way. We got this internal thing about us. And I think if we would expand our reach of the broadband, so to speak, I think we would be surprised at the plethora of voices that would come forward. All right, folks, be good to yourself. Appreciate you. Thank you for honoring me. I hope I've done the same with you. Have yourself a great one. All right, bye-bye.